Strings in Java. Hello and welcome back to another video here on the channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about probably the most used data type in Java. You're going to use this one throughout the entire time, learning, mastering, and probably even work. You can be using strings a lot. And like I said in the previous one, these are just pieces of textual data like this. So I thought I would share some very useful methods that come with the string, and personally these are very useful. So yeah, they're pretty cool. Now before I begin, I do want to mention that we now have a warning here, which we did not have before, and that is because we have just had Java 23 release here, and with it comes some very cool changes, and we have a very big change to the main method. So this is the before. After Java 23, when you've updated, you can now just type something like this, and yeah, you have the exact same method like we have here. And push up a step further, you can just say print line brackets, and then you have to import this, and then here you can just say hello world. This method and this method are exactly the same. Now this is a preview feature and may be removed in a future update. That's what the warning is about. So if it's annoying you as much as it annoys me, you can just Alt and Enter to bring up suggestions, and then you can disable this inspection. As you can see, it will now work exactly the same. Now, this is what we're going to be using. The newer main method, it works exactly the same. So much for syntax verbosity, huh? Anyways, let's actually get started. So, to do it, we are going to have a string variable. So, string name. This is going to be equal to, I just gave you my name, Andrew. Okay, Andrew. Okay, come on. So yeah, we have Andrew, and we're just going to print out the value of our name variable here. We should get Andrew on the terminal. As you can see, we have an Andrew on the terminal. Great stuff. Now, let's get started with the useful methods. Well, the first one I'm going to show here is going to be the dot to lowercase. And what this does is it will print this Andrew name in all lowercase letters, like so, as you can see. Now, the opposite of this will be to uppercase. And this will do the exact same thing, except it will now show Andrew in all uppercase letters. Pretty cool stuff. Now, you might be thinking that I can probably just take this inside the code, right? You want to say, yeah, I want to change the name of the value of this by doing something like this, name.to uppercase. You want to do something like this. You just want to make it uppercase and then print it. Well, if we run this, you will get Andrew the exact way it is here. Now you might be wondering, like, wait, why is that happening? Like, we had it here, it worked fine, but then the moment we put it in, why is it not changing? Well, that is because strings are immutable, and what this means is a string once created cannot be changed. The value of it cannot be changed. So Andrew here, for example, is going to be like this. What you're trying to do here, you're trying to change it from this here to be all caps, and because of its immutable nature, you cannot change the value of this, not using methods at least. If you want to change the value of this, you're going to have to reassign the value. So you can say is equal to Andrew. Like this, it'll work. No problem whatsoever. Let's run it. As you can see, it will now work fine because this is the actual value of it. But changing it using methods like this, that simply does not work. So I do completely discourage using methods like this to change the value of it. The only reason it works here is because we are working with a version of it. We're just going to print an uppercase version of the same string. We're not changing the string itself. So that's a very useful thing. Now the next one I would like to do is we're going to have a bunch of, that's not what I meant to do, a bunch of spaces before and after Andrew. So if we now print this, we get a bunch of spaces before and after. Well, how do you avoid this? Well, in case you know someone might actually do that, you use the trim method, which will get rid of any spaces before and after. As you can see, we no longer have any spaces afterwards here. Very useful method. Another method I find useful is going to be the length. And what this does is this prints out the number of letters that exist within your string. So Andrew is 6 letters long. This should return 6. As you can see, it now returns 6. So you can have Andrew Jones, for example, and you print this. That's an addition of another 6 letters, another 6 pieces, should be 12. Because yeah, spaces do actually count as characters. So remember, this is the number of characters that exist within here. So this is going to be 12. Pretty cool stuff. Another method I find useful is going to be the ends with. And I think the name of this one pretty much gives it away. What this does, it returns a Boolean value, which I just realized I did not include in the previous video. Data type. I forgot one more data type. Literally, we have a Boolean value. And this is basically whether or not something is true. So this is going to be either true or false. So what this does is it returns true or false if a string ends with something. So for example, we want to have, for example, to see if Andrew ends in REW. This will return true because it does end in REW. Same way, we can have starts with, and here you can actually starts with, and if it starts with A and D, or we can even just have an A or maybe AN. If it starts with this will all return true. Somewhat useful if you're trying to find the prefix of something to see if someone is like using a cuss word or something. It's pretty nice, I guess. Next up, we have the replace method, which, as the name suggests, it replaces specific values in the string. So what we're going to do, we're going to attempt to replace the A. What this does is it replaces all uppercase A's with the lowercase. So like this, and if we run this, we should get a lowercase a. As you can see, we can also replace D's with lowercase a's, and this will give us a pretty weird result here. As you can see, it replaces the D with an A. Now, let's say you wanted to actually change entire strings at once. You're going to use the string values. So let's say DRE, want to replace DRE with B and A. You're going to have this. So the replace method is absolutely tons of fun, and it works very well. Another one of the useful method is going to be the equals method. And what this is, it compares the string to either another string or maybe even a number and sees if it's actually equal. So for example, if the name equals void, it will return a Boolean as well. It will return whether or not if this is the same as our variable. So this is false because void is not the same as Andrew. So equals, it's very nice. Let's say, for example, I have this. Do you think it will return true? Do you think it will return false? It will return false. But wait, this is Andrew. This is also Andrew. Well, there's one difference. This letter is not uppercase. Strings are case sensitive, so you need to make sure that is something you consider when using equals. However, if you want to ignore the case completely and just see if the letters are the same, then you're going to use the equals ignore case. And what this will do is it will check this and completely disregard whether or not the case is different. It will just see the letters. So this will ignore the case. This will return true because everything is exactly the same. So this will return true, but only because we're ignoring the case. Another useful method is the character at. So we're going to start doing indexes. So we have 6 letters here, right? Now, the first letter is at index 0 because it's literally the first one. Indices, whichever one you decide to use, they're both acceptable. Here is the first letter. The first letter is going to be at index 0, second letter at index 1, and the last one's going to be at index 5. So it's 6 letters, start from 0 all the way to 5, right? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if we wanted to get A, we would get the character at index 0. This should return an uppercase A, as you can see. Now, let's say, for example, want to get the last letter. There's 5 of these here, so we can say at index 5, we should get the W. As you can see, we got the W. It's pretty cool stuff. And now the last, but certainly not least, in this tutorial at the very least, I want to check is if a string is blank. So string is blank. So we're gonna have a blank string is one of these. These are just spaces, by the way. So something like this returns whether or not a string is blank. So this will return true because this is indeed blank. It's true. And if we have an empty string is basically something like this, that you don't have anything between. This is an empty string. This also returns true. Now there is also is empty, like this. This is also empty, isn't it? Now this is false because this is blank. This is an empty, but it's blank. So is this empty? This is not an empty. This is not empty. Pretty much that's it. I'm really sorry for forgetting booleans in the previous video. That is so unprofessional of me. Seriously, how can I forget one of the most important data types? Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Yeah, so strings, probably going to be talking about operators and arithmetic operators in the next tutorial. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like, subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. Peace out.